Friends, we are now standing on the threshold of a new era. And as clouds gather around, humanity and awareness truly begins to waver for many people, a great task arises to once again reveal the profound information about our true nature, about who we are, why we came to this planet, and how we carry out our evolutionary journey. How each of you can remember yourself, awaken your inner self, draw out your sacred experience, and most importantly, use it in everyday life for your spiritual evolution. Right now, in the informational space around us, we see a lot of different information, and often it has no practical value at all. When people just say things like, oh, predictions, tomorrow we'll all die from a new virus, and so on. And seeing all this, the higher powers truly want to offer something useful and effective again. That's why now, at the request of my mentors, each of my broadcasts will include elements of practice. And most importantly, so that we're not just sitting here reasoning and discussing some topic, not just wondering what will happen. Aren't you tired of it? I just want to ask you, aren't you tired of listening to all these doom and gloom forecasters and predictors who keep promising and telling us that things are only going to get worse and worse? You're probably already tired of it, just like I am, for example. That's why I suggest we don't just sit around and, like in the old days when people would ask, what will happen, and just passively, like slaves, wait to see what would happen. But now it's time for us to stop being slaves and start actually doing something, including on our own. Because if you think that you personally have no influence on the events happening in the world, that is a deep misconception, a profound one. So you do influence the events taking place in the world and the future of our civilization directly. And you are capable of doing a special practice together with me, which will directly help our planet to raise its vibrations, dissolve the negativity that is happening now, bring an end to conflicts, wars, the era of illusions, and open up awareness. This practice is called Planetary Meditations. I have hundreds of them on my YouTube channel from when I used to record every single broadcast. Big planetary meditations. You can repeat those, or you can do new ones that I will be doing together with you during my live streams. Depending on the topic, the date, and which civilizations and energies are coming to Earth, we will regularly meet with you so that we don't just, listen passively and blindly believe what is being said, that things will get worse. Be afraid. Some fortune teller has predicted something bad for you. But we will say that we don't care about all these predictions. We don't care about what someone said somewhere or where they claim that, oh, something is going to happen, things will get worse here, things will get worse there. We will create our own reality, because that is exactly the quality of people of the new era. The time has come to remember who we are, to awaken ourselves, to rediscover our purpose. Why did we come here? Because among you, those who are watching me right now, there are people who didn't just come here to listen. There are people present who have an inner spiritual mission to participate directly in the process of humanity's awakening. The era of selfishness is coming to an end, when everyone was just looking out for themselves. A period of unity is beginning, when we come together and through collective meditations or perhaps something else, create a field that raises vibrations and influences all of humanity. I thank each of you who joins these meditations, who comes to this broadcast. At the end of this broadcast, there will be a meditation together with RA. We will go there to him, we will go to the solar core, we will come there and feel for ourselves what these energies are like. He will give some valuable and important practices as well as answers to questions. And throughout the entire broadcast, you will receive very useful and diverse information for yourself. So watch until the end and be sure to share this broadcast with your friends and acquaintances afterwards. Because it is truly necessary to take part in such processes and to preserve this wave of light, which must continue to exist on YouTube and in the information space, especially when everything around is getting darker, when demonic forces are broadcasting all sorts of predictions and tales about an evil future from every possible hole, when psychics have foretold and prophesied all of this is being done by certain demonic forces, and unfortunately only for the purpose of making money, not for awakening humanity. That's why today we will be answering many of these questions together. Please prepare your questions. But before we begin, I want to clarify right away. When you ask questions about the future, you need to understand that our future is non-linear. There is no clear, fixed branch of the future. It is impossible to state or predict the future with certainty. Even Vanga had a 40% error rate in her predictions, and yet we consider Vanga to be a very, very powerful clairvoyant. But even she had an accuracy rate of about 60 to 70%, somewhere between those numbers. That's why you should consider what percentage of accuracy do those you're listening to now actually have. Can they even compare to Vanga? Maybe at best they only have a 10% success rate in predicting the future. So what's the point in believing them? In this broadcast there will be some glimpses of information about the future, but you need to understand right away that this is not something rigid or absolutely certain to happen exactly within these timeframes. This is an approximate forecast, not even of events, but of energies. It's about how the energies are flowing now and how these energies will push humanity forward. But any forecast assumes that we ourselves respond to it. Every action we take, every intention we express to the universe will determine which way our future turns, toward more favorable scenarios or less favorable ones. That is, right now from this very broadcast, the future will change. And depending on how you come together to influence it, how you carry out this planetary meditation at the end, that is how it will affect reality. So today we have invited a very interesting guest. He is one of my main curators and mentors, Ra. Yes, that was a QR code for the Telegram channel. Ra is a representative of the higher civilizations of light. Moreover, when I studied him and his structure, I discovered that there is a concept of Ra that exists in Egypt, meaning as the Egyptian god, as you can see here in this image, right? Right here in this one. Which side is it on for me? This one or this one? This one. Right here. As you can see, he was depicted with the head of a bird, as a deity with a bird's head who came from the heavens and passed knowledge on to people. Moreover, Ra is depicted as a warrior of light who pulls the sun behind him in his chariot and every night battles the demon of darkness, sending light from his spear into it. Essentially, this is a symbolic image, but nevertheless it reflects the energetic essence of Ra. By his very nature, Ra possesses the energy of dissolving darkness, the energy of light, and the energy of clear knowledge. But it should be understood that Rati's name was used for different beings who made contact with humanity. And Ra exists on different levels, and he came to people from various levels. The one we saw with the head of a bird is actually a member of the Galactic Federation of Light, who is a representative of the Blue Avians. And indeed, the Blue Avians did visit Earth. On my YouTube channel, there is a video dedicated to the Blue Avians. There was also a contact with Ra in that video, and you can watch it. It was posted about a year ago. That video goes into more detail specifically about this civilization. And Ra incarnated in this civilization, and from there, in that form, came to people, which is why he was depicted as a being with the head of a bird. Moreover, the Blue Avians are members of the Galactic Federation of Light, and they have visited ancient Egypt more than once. And not only the Egypt that existed here with the pyramids, but also the Egypt that was on Mars and Venus. In other words, Ra played an active role in the development of Mars and Venus. He is one of the highest archangels of the Galactic Federation of Light and specifically oversees our solar system on behalf of the GFL. That is, he is a being of multi levels, meaning a multidimensional being manifesting both at the level of Archangel So, this is archangelic energy, at the level of the subtle plane. That is, there exists a collective consciousness of Ra, consisting of plasmoids living on the sun. In other words, if you know in the Indian understanding of sun deities, there is a main one Surya, and there are also other sun deities who also dwell on the sun and are plasmoid beings as forms of God. There are 12 forms there, Ra, Mitra, Surya, and others, which are listed. I won't name them all right now. Nevertheless, we need to understand that when we come into contact with the knowledge of Ra, we realize that it is not a specific Ra in just one particular form. He can appear to each person in his own unique way. And he has contacted not only me, but also many other channelers. For example, Amora Guanyin, or the famous messages from Ra, which there is a book called The Law of One. That was one of the very first old channelings that ever appeared. Of course, there are distortions from the channeler themselves, but overall they are very substantial. I hope you have already prepared your questions, the ones you have. Think about them, and please note that we will be selecting questions. Today I have an assistant present on the broadcast. He greets you as well. He will read out your questions and select the ones that are most relevant to the topic and the most interesting for our particular broadcast, for our stream, and for our theme, which involves us remembering ourselves. So right now I can already feel that he is present in this space. I need a little time now to synchronize with his vibrations, and then I will begin transmitting. If you are ready, prepare your questions and write them in the chat. Type your questions into the scrolling text bar. My solar greetings to you, inhabitants of Earth. I am the one you call Ra. This name truly reflects my unique primary vibration and essence. I exist simultaneously in different dimensions and densities. The level of my spirit allows my higher self to manifest in various dimensions. I have a dense material body. It is currently located at the Galactic Federation base, which is situated on the far side of the moon, not far from the Galactic Gateway. I have come here on a very important and meaningful mission in my physical body to carefully and diligently carry out crucial and significant tasks related to preparing the solar corona, as well as activating a special and unique crystal of great significance that is located in orbit between the Earth and the Sun. Right now, together with the Galactic Federation, we are preparing a network of microscopic crystals situated in the upper layers of your atmosphere to stabilize the planet's field. This intricate network is carefully constructed according to the unique and complex pattern of energy lines found on your planet, closely resembling what is known as sacred geometry, and is absolutely necessary in order to ensure that the solar radiation coming from intense plasma flares does not in any way harm your physical bodies or any form of life on Earth. This preparation is already almost practically complete, and soon we will proceed to the final stage of tuning this light network. It acts as a light filter, attracting and stopping excess particles and radiation that could have a negative impact on your bodies. We are interested in ensuring that all the processes you are about to experience proceed as harmoniously as possible. The sun will soon reach the peak of its activity, and there will be very powerful magnetic processes taking place. Eruptions of solar plasma will gradually begin to magnetize your field, raising the vibrations of the planet. This inevitably leads to your internal structures, which previously blocked your field, being roasted from the inside. In this way, a process of deep cleansing occurs through the burning out of these blocks. At the same time, this process may be accompanied by these blocks coming to the surface, specifically by the manifestation of some of the less favorable human qualities, which in itself is not something new, but rather the completion of something old. Take this calmly. Many of you are beginning to feel anxious because of these events. You look up at the sky with a certain amount of worry and fear. We understand this. As a species, you do not possess as high a level of awareness as we do, which prevents you from looking clearly into the future and seeing its possibilities, as well as the range of your choices. You look into your future and see only what your imagination paints for you there. Often, this is based on deeply painful beliefs, patterns, and stereotypes. In doing so, you end up scaring yourselves with your own illusions. But it is worth looking at this completely openly and freely. Your future is not predetermined, not even by us. A commission of the Galactic Council convenes regularly to carefully make important decisions on how to proceed with Earth. Right now, the planet is being influenced from different sides. Different forces are trying to exert their influence. Some are trying to cloud humanity's consciousness, to delay the moment of awakening as much as possible, so that as few souls as possible have time to awaken by then. But at the same time, the frequency of light is high, and our presence has accelerated the manifestation of all intentions, just as the actions of balancing forces have also sped up. That is why on your planet a regime of instant karma, as you call it, will gradually and inevitably be introduced. In other words, this is the immediate manifestation of balancing forces. As soon as you start thinking or acting in a destructive way, or in a manner that disrupts the universal harmony, there will be an immediate effect and almost instant reaction from the space around you. And at the same time, if your actions and thoughts are pure and filled with gratitude and love, your life will begin to improve just as quickly. This will be activated gradually, increasing over time. Right now, it is already activated at about 15%. Are you perhaps expecting a solar flare? You have already gotten used to them, just as you have to auroras appearing in latitudes where you didn't expect them. This is due to the shift in the Earth's pole polarity, which is already underway. We are currently engaged in a deep and subtle tuning of this polarity shift, influencing Earth's deep structures from our ships so that this change in polarity happens smoothly and comfortably without major or global upheavals. We are also influencing the sun to ensure the release of the necessary energy impulse at the moment when both it and you are ready. The approximate dates have not yet been decided. The final meeting of the Galactic Federation regarding the issue of the year 2025 will take place at the beginning of July according to your calendar. That will be around the third day. After that, it will be decided whether to deliver this impulse this year or during the next cycle of solar activity in 36. But even if a decision is ultimately made, it will, in all likelihood, most likely take the form of a gradual influence over time. Most now lean toward the necessity and importance of this gradual influence, where we send impulses gradually, each of which, in its own way, helps you in your ongoing evolution. But it is important that you know how to receive these energies, let them pass through you, and ground them into the space of the planet. On behalf of our collective, we sincerely recommend that you regularly practice such beneficial and supportive methods as grounding, which helps you stay present and connected to the moment, as well as connecting with both the sun and the earth to foster a sense of unity with nature. Additionally, we encourage you to channel energy from the sun through yourself to the earth, and in turn from the earth through yourself back to the sun, allowing for a harmonious and balanced flow of energy between these vital sources. Now, at this moment, I am absolutely ready to answer any of your questions. I thank you for this first part. I am ready and listening to you.
My name is Sergey. By the way, to the assistant, what is the assistant's name? I will now be reading your questions from the chat, from YouTube, and from Instagram. The first question: how can one assess the level of development of the soul? Can angels incarnate in order to experience specifically low vibrations, demonic ones, to gain all kinds of experiences and develop their higher self?
The level of vibrations is distinguished not by the height of the frequency but by the breadth of the vibration spectrum. Development is defined as the presence of a multitude of spectrums, in which there is no division into good, bad, demonic, or angelic. In the true light, these distortions do not exist. You yourselves invented these distinctions in the past in order to create some kind of duality for yourselves as reference points for what to consider good and what to consider bad. In the true light, higher beings such as angels and archangels are considered such because they possess a high volume of vibrational spectrums, merging with the light that contains the full spectrum. And they can incarnate on Earth and in other worlds to experience different aspects of life. If a certain spectrum is lacking, then the higher self may decide to come into an incarnation where it can gain experience of that spectrum of light as a spectrum of vibrations. That's it.
Thank you for your answer. So the next question: what is the Eye of Ra?
What is depicted in Egyptian temples and the messages we left for our disciples in ancient Egypt when we came here as teachers from other planets, we were revered as pharaohs and gods, and we tried to convey to the people of that time the information they needed to awaken their inner self. What you know as the Eye of Ra is the presence of light within each of you. It is the eye of the Creator, the Prime Creator, as an observer who is constantly watching. Your true nature is not who you think you are, not the one living this life, but who you really are. And that is the Eye of Ra. That is youth observer. In a biological sense, the Eye of Ra reflects the structure of your brain being located at its center, symbolizing those parts that are most capable of merging with the state of observation. The point between the eyebrows, or the third eye, as it is also called, that is the Eye of Ra. You can learn to practice meditations on disidentification and awareness of the process of observing yourself from the outside. Then you will merge with the eye.
Thank you so much for your answer. I really appreciate it. So the next question is quite interesting. It's from Irina. How can I find out what is inherent in me? In my dreams, I constantly see and feel myself as an angel. That's the question. By the way, some people feel like Napoleon, others like an angel. So how can we, ordinary people, understand this truth? What is inherent in me? Who am I? Are these feelings, for example, deceptive? Should we trust them or not? Where is the line?
With your ordinary human perspective, you always try to divide things, drawing only clear boundaries between one and the other. You simply don't allow for the thought of a superpositional state where you can actually be both at the same time. Many people, when they meditate in search of an answer to the profound and timeless question, who am I really, often receive certain insights and realizations, sometimes discovering that they are Jesus, or that they are Ra incarnate, Thoth, or even other well-known angels and archangels whom they have encountered at various points in their lives. But you try to interpret this literally, which leads to illusions, as if you are exactly that very essence which you have seen, as if only you are Jesus and others are not. In reality, if you remove the illusion from your perception, you can realize that this is a certain presence, a form of energy that is a part of you. Some part of you is indeed this angel. Within you lies its essence, its archetype. Just as my archetype exists within many of you. Just as the archetype of Jesus exists within many of you. But that does not mean that only you are Jesus and the rest are not. You are simply a part of the divine consciousness, in which everything exists and where all is united as one.
Am I understanding correctly that it turns out we are all connected and we all simultaneously carry within us a part of, say, Jesus, a part of the Virgin Mary, a part of the archangels? You can't say that I am only this, just one thing.
Yes, you can't say that, except in those cases where that very being is incarnated in this body. But if that is the case, then that person will never have any doubts about it.
It's just that here on Earth there are people who consider themselves to be such. For example, the incarnate Virgin Mary. And some of them even have lots of followers. They consider themselves to be the Virgin Mary. So what are the others supposed to do? How can you check that? Did she really incarnate, reincarnate, or did she just merge into that tiny part that's common to everyone and stay there? In a mistake?
Let's ask the question differently. Who was the Virgin Mary before she was born as the Virgin Mary? When she was born, did she think about who she had been before that? If she had sat there remembering which goddess she had been incarnated as before, she would have said, "I'm not the Virgin Mary, I'm the goddess Isis." How would you react to that? The loss of memory of past incarnations is not accidental for Earthlings. The immaturity of many individuals leads them to seek resources not within themselves, not in the self-development of their current personality, but in finding an ideal to emulate and identifying themselves with it. That is why immature, insecure, and weak individuals, often unable to develop their current earthly self, start trying to solve their problems by identifying themselves as someone else, as if by realizing themselves as another person, they would gain that person's strength. That is why they invent for themselves that they are Mary's Jesuses. For them, this is a form of escape from reality, a way to avoid acknowledging themselves here and now. If the Virgin Mary, at the time when she was incarnated, had walked around thinking that she was not the Virgin Mary but someone else incarnated in that body, her personality would not have formed and you would not know her and who she is. But you know her precisely because of that incarnation and not any other. Therefore, even if it so happened that some divine being, which had a prominent manifestation in the past, known to everyone, was incarnated in you, there would be no point in living in the past, recalling it only for the sake of saying, that was me, look at me. Only weak personalities speak like that, those who crave fame, attention, and submission in order to control their believing followers. Even if Jesus were to be born into the world again, he would not go around saying, look, I am Jesus. Because his very nature would not require it.
So even if we recognize in ourselves uh, a small part of something in common with some well-known person who once lived on Earth, we shouldn't get fixated on that one part, even if we feel it strongly. We always need to add something new in our current life, right? Am I understanding this correctly?
Any incarnation happens for this very reason, to create something new. All experience can serve as a support, and it really is important to remember yourself, who you are, what you are, and why your soul came here. This is so you can take the next step, express your personality now, and make the development of this life a new, meaningful incarnation.
All right. So let's step away from this topic a little for now. Is there a connection between Ra and Yarilo? Are they the same? This question is from Lyudmila.
People in different cultures call the same things by different names. Some say Ra, some say Surya, some say Yarilo, but it's all the same.
And what does that mean? Are they referring to a race? Is Ra some kind of alien race?
Yes and no. It is the name of a spiritual star family. I am the head of this family.
And who makes up this spiritual family?
It is a large group of solar spirits, what you call plasmoid beings, composed of energy and light.
So, as a plasmoid, did you incarnate on Earth in the form of an anthropomorphic bird?
Not on Earth, on my own planet, and only afterwards did I visit Earth.
So, was this during the time of ancient Egypt? Am I understanding correctly?
Yes, and much earlier as well.
By the way, here's a question related to the ancient Slavs. If we have Yarilo, does that mean we also had contact with the ancient Ra or not? How did they find out about this?
Extraterrestrial civilizations, just like plasmoids, can contact humanity in various ways. And in many cultures on Earth, there are so-called conduits nowadays. You call them mediums. But in the past, they were called shamans, seers, sorceresses, or magi who could communicate with us, with representatives of the solar civilization, and who worship the sun in every possible way as a source that gives strength and energy. It was through these contacts that myths about the sun were born, about what it is, what it signifies, and what it gives to people.
But still, I would like to clarify. During the times of ancient Egypt, were you on Earth in a physical form or as a subtle material structure?
In a physical form,
But now you are contacting us in the form of a subtle material structure.
both physical forms and subtle material structures. Both types of representatives are present here now.
That is difficult to comprehend. Well, alright, here's the next question. What should humanity ultimately achieve in the best case scenario?
That is a very good question. In the best scenario, you become an evolved species, reaching a high state of existence and understanding, united together as a single consciousness of humanity. You exist as one race, a collective entity, no longer dividing yourselves by arbitrary territorial borders, by the concepts of good and bad, or by distinctions such as black and white. Instead, you embrace unity, harmony, and the shared experience of being human. United as a single culture, yet maintaining its diversity. What makes it remarkable is that it's not about one particular nation or race on your planet dominating and suppressing the others, but rather it's about harmony and peace among all forms of life, a state where everyone is recognized as an equal partner and xenophobia is dissolved. Upon reaching this state, your humanity enters the Galactic Federation of Light, undergoing a conscious process of evolution. Alongside advanced technologies, you also gain advanced intelligence and a soul that possesses the experience of unity and the healing of spiritual wounds. You will carry this experience into the galaxy, beyond your own civilization, and serve as missionaries of light, helping other races to evolve, transition, or resolve conflicts between civilizations as a form of divine peacemakers who have learned how to endure and be saved through the most difficult trials, through wars, through conflict. This is the best possible form of future for you.
Interesting. Thank you. So, dear one, could you please tell us what the plasmoids are doing on the sun? Valentina is asking.
It is not possible for the human mind to understand this, because you exist in a different space. The activities we engage in are difficult to describe in human terms, because even if we name them, you would not understand what is being discussed. They are involved in quantum compiling of structures, triangulation, disintegration, and integration of matter and energy. More precisely, in human language, this can be described as the process of creation. They create worlds, parallel worlds, plasmoid worlds, subtle worlds. In these worlds, they also live, feed, reproduce, explore the universe, build cities, construct spaceships, open portals for travel to other galaxies, and communicate with extraterrestrials. To us, you are the extraterrestrials. And in addition to that, they engage in design. Any living forms on your planet, such as plants or animals, did not come into existence in their current form by chance. All of them have a quantum structural blueprint. We are capable of designing these structures and setting their evolution for hundreds of thousands of years into the future. Well, depending on how we count, development will be harmonious in one system or another. That is why life, in the form in which it arose on Earth, was in many ways created, including by solar plasmoids, which released energy for this structured matter and helped it gradually form over time into the shapes you see around you.
Thank you. So, Svetlana asks, is it possible to attune to the energies of Ari anywhere, even in places with a lot of people? Or can this only be done during meditation? And by the way, is it possible to attune to the energy of RA in the dark?
Yes. The photon flow of RA energy does not depend on day or night, on darkness or light. It is most active during daylight. But nighttime does not pose or create significant limitations for those who know how to attune to it.
Thank you. Here's a question. Who are we and why are we here on Earth? Such a broad question from Tatiana, of course. Claro.
Each of you is a truly unique individual form of the manifestation of God, of divine consciousness. Your Earth has existed here, in this place, for many millions of years. And for many millions of years, your souls have been evolving here and on other planets. The journey of the soul begins in ancient times. By reincarnating into different forms, the soul evolves. And each of you who is now incarnated in a human body is already a highly evolved and ancient soul. All that remains for you is to take the final steps to become even more expansive. You come into this world to explore all of its countless and wondrous forms, to carry out the ongoing process of creation, because it is truly you who are the hands of God, through which He creates and shapes the universe.
Thank you. Lyubov asks, how can one help their blood vessels accept solar activation?
Breathe.
Breathe. That's the answer. I see. To remember yourself means to remember your past incarnations, or it means to remember your higher self, or it means to be in constant communication with your higher self.
All of the above. To remember yourself means, first and foremost, to awaken in the same way you wake up from sleep. As long as you are asleep, you do not remember yourself in your sleep. During any dream, you walk and wander inside the dream, passively observing what is happening. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you fight against it, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it fights against you. But everything that happens in the dream seems real to you while you are asleep. While you are inside, very few people ever ask themselves, is this really happening? And who am I? How did I end up here? Where did I come from to be in this place and space? The same is true in real life, because it is similar to a dream. If you live your life without ever realizing who you truly are, without understanding that you are not simply this physical body, and you are not merely the thoughts that arise in your head, then you may miss the deeper truth that your true, original nature is something far greater, something that exists beyond all of these temporary aspects. It's as if your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and even your very personality are just a shell that you put on in order to interact and engage with the world. But because of this, you become so deeply immersed in this shell that you forget about your original nature as the observer and creator of reality. You turn into a passive spectator, absorbed in the process. This is exactly where the secret truly lies when it comes to returning to your true self, the profound awakening of consciousness.
Thank you. Alright. Galia Bogdanova asks if there will be a powerful flash that will accelerate humanity's transition and whether everyone will be able to withstand it. Thank you.
Yes, there will be. No, not everyone will be able to withstand it.
By the way, you mentioned earlier that a decision is currently being made about whether to send the Flash this year or in 2026. Is that right?
36th.
36. So this process can be controlled.
Yes, we can control this process.
Uh, Based on what criteria are decisions made about whether or not to send a flash to Earth, to the Earthlings? I mean, how do you weigh this decision?
The Galactic Council convenes, and Earthlings also participate in it.
Uh-huh.
After all, Earthlings are not only represented by humans, they are also subtle plasmoid beings and the spirit of the planet itself, who have the right to vote and be present at the Galactic Council. There, the current level of development of your planet is discussed, different viewpoints are put forward, and possible consequences are considered. Then the chronosphere is activated, and with the help of a highly specialized quantum device, we carefully study the possible future timelines in order to determine whether any of them have become particularly favorable or advantageous. The chronosphere allows us, at a certain point, to take a snapshot of possible future scenarios in order to see how realistic they are. But the results of this research are not permanent, since they depend on the specific decisions made and become irrelevant after being viewed. Through the chronosphere, we can see how the decisions we make immediately affect the future and observe the changes that will occur. But every moment is unpredictable and can change in ways we might not expect. So we have to repeat the session multiple times and carefully check again to see what consequences our actions might lead to, ensuring that we fully understand the possible outcomes and are prepared for any unexpected results that may arise.
Uh-huh. Thank you for your answer. So I'll read a question now from Instagram. Antonina asks, could you please tell me how to find one's true purpose in life? The topic of finding purpose, how relevant, significant, and important is it right now in today's world?
For one's true purpose to fully manifest, the soul has thoughtfully provided many different ways for it to be gradually revealed, each one offering its own unique path. In fact, there are certain criteria by which you can clearly feel that this particular activity is connected to your purpose. To activate this memory within yourself, it's enough to ask, what do I love doing most of all? What do I enjoy? What gives me a surge of strength, pleasure, and energy? And then you will start to hear your soul and your higher self. They speak to you every day and constantly, to each and every one of us. But you forget about this and lose the ability to hear them. The more often you pay attention to your sense of inner comfort or discomfort when making decisions, the more clearly you will begin to feel what exactly your soul is telling you.
Is it true? I heard that if a person strays too far from their purpose, the reason they were incarnated, they can die suddenly, no matter what age they are.
Yes, that's true. Such a decision can be made by the spirit as the highest self. If it sees that its individual self, its ego, is going too far and straying too much from the scenarios they had planned in advance. In the case of a major deviation, if there is a risk that a significant drop in vibrations or a decline in the level of awareness might occur, the soul can make the decision to disincarnate.
Uh-huh.
The body.
So you said that experiencing pleasure, enjoyment is one of the criteria that you're on the right path. While, for example, people with addictions also experience pleasure and they feel like everything is great for them. How do you tell the difference?
Nothing is great for them, they are not experiencing any real pleasure. People become addicted precisely because they are so out of touch with themselves and their soul
Uh-huh.
that they choose to artificially stimulate themselves to get a fleeting moment of pleasure, which has nothing to do with the lasting, permanent state of happiness, love, joy, and euphoria that a person experiences when their life is filled with meaning, when they're following their true path. If a person easily fulfills their purpose in life and finds their own path, they feel fulfilled and in harmony. They don't feel the urge to fill that emptiness with artificial stimulants, drugs, or sources of addiction. After all, almost all people with addictions are those who have an inner emptiness and are simply trying either to escape from their problems and reality or to fill that void artificially.
Can one person change another person's fate? For example, those dark fortune tellers or witches whom people go to and say, "Help me, remove this curse, change my life, make me happy." How does that work?
It works as a delegation of free will. When a person goes to fortune tellers or psychics and says, change my fate, remove or cast a curse, make something happen, or perform a love spell, as a rule, such a person is guided by their ego. That is, by a set of limitations, false beliefs, and desires dictated by illusions. When instead of admitting that there are many other possibilities in the universe where they could find a loved one, a person starts to think, only with this woman or only with this man will I be happy. And it doesn't matter that he has a wife, I need to cast a love spell on him, take him away from his wife,
Uh-huh.
and possess him. Only the ego dictates this. The ego will never lead a person to happiness because it is based on illusions.
So this is not about awareness again, right?
It's about the fact that when a person turns to such forces, they are selling their soul to the devil. In other words, he gives up his free will along with a part of his soul to some negative force, which acts as a kind of creditor, taking payment from the person with interest in the form of his soul and redirecting his own energy to create a potential that influences the fate of another person.
Then we end up slipping into duality: good, bad, good, evil. So are we talking about some kind of dark forces then?
That's just what you call them. We use this terminology for the sake of your understanding.
Uh-huh. Well, is this process reversible? If you've given away your soul, can you take it back?
Yes, this process is reversible because it depends on the level of awareness. When awareness returns and there is an understanding of one's actions, the soul can consciously reclaim its energy and return to its original state. But these journeys are also dangerous because when a person does this, they reject their divine nature, their ability to influence their own reality, believing that only someone else can affect it, not themselves. You should never act against the will of others, because, moreover, it is pointless. It is impossible to make someone fall in love by force, and it is impossible to energetically take abundance from another person and draw it to yourself. It's simply a deception. A deception that benefits those people who make money by providing such so-called services.
Thank you. So going back to YouTube, now the questions are a bit simpler. Are the golden aliens from the planet of the sun or from Gra? Thank you in advance. Victoria is asking, I specifically
The sun is not a planet.
aliens are being referred to.
The sun is not a planet. It is a star. No, the golden aliens are not from the sun or from Ra. They came from another solar system, from the Pegasus constellation.
Thank you. How can a soul become an archangel of light? By the way, this question is from Svetlana. How can a soul become an archangel of light?
By merging with the divine reality and understanding it through a state of love, by attaining a state of enlightenment. Several humans on Earth have followed a similar path. One of them is known to you as Archangel Metatron.
So, he was a former human who ascended?
Yes, he was a human on Earth.
Eh, are there any other examples, or was he the only one from Earth?
Archangel Sandalphon is also one of the humans from Earth.
By the way, if you ascend to the level of an archangel, can you fall back down?
Yes.
So you can fall.
No one in the universe is deprived of free will and choice.
Mhm. Thank you. So here's a question. Elena asks, is it true that Farhad Atta, or Atta I am not sure, was one of the sun deities and came to Earth to save humanity by giving them a formula for absorbing solar energy? Let's clarify this information.
Many have come to Earth with this purpose, including us when we came in the form of deities. In Egypt, we shared a great deal of information and various formulas with humans for absorbing solar energy, even creating special elixirs capable of storing sunlight, using special lens systems, pyramids, and particles of gold for this purpose.
Thank you. Now, a question from Olga. Well, Olga, you're really cutting to the quick. Of course, I read it out now. How did the Anunnaki affect you then? Do they still influence us today? I mean, specifically the people of Earth.
The Anunnaki were one of the species that interacted with humans, and from our perspective, they did so in a way that was not entirely ethical. They used people as slave labor for their own interests, and up to a certain point, they even controlled territories in Egypt for a time. We had major conflicts with them, which resulted in military clashes that ultimately led to the Anunnaki losing their power over Earth. Initially, at the very beginning, they were actively engaged in genetic experiments on humans, specifically with the intention of implanting genes of servile obedience. They partially inserted a certain number of these genes into human DNA so they could use people as slaves. That is why it was very long and difficult to neutralize this influence, because removing these genes turned out to be practically impossible, since they had already spread among people and mixed with other genes. That's why each of you carries a fragment of the genes of slavery. It is precisely this that you need to overcome this inertia that says, I don't want to, I can't, I want to obey. I want someone else to determine my fate. I don't want to choose and manage my own life. Let someone else make decisions for me. This is how these genes speak to you. The Anunnaki did this deliberately. Their technology was not very advanced, so they had to mine gold manually, including by using humans. After all, gold was necessary for their civilization, for their survival. The Anunnaki are a multicultural nation, but they are mainly represented by reptilians. Now they also want to lay claim to your planet. They have their own contactees. They are very closely connected with the Sumerians, and even now on Earth, they sometimes conduct illegal experiments, abducting people. But fortunately, they are now completely forbidden from doing this.
Here's a question on the topic of gold. Is there on our planet some similarly precious, as yet undiscovered element that surpasses gold? Something that could become much more valuable than gold, but which we humans haven't dug up yet. Well, at least give us hints or no.
Value depends on what you consider valuable. There are elements that can be more valuable and expensive than gold, but they are very rarely found on planets. You have elements like platinum and other rare earth metals, palladium, tellurium.
And what about something that hasn't been discovered yet?
You have discovered quite a lot of elements, except for those that have not yet been synthesized.
How perfectly complete is our periodic table?
It is not perfect, but it accurately reflects the patterns of the chemical and physical properties of atoms.
At least we Earthlings already have some kind of foundation. So Rihanna Anna asks whether it's true that our quadrant of the galaxy has been captured, along with the solar system, and that the invaders are using us as a harbor to build their ship in order to go on and conquer other worlds.
That is false information.
Alright, next question. Beloved, how can solar energy, enlightenment, purification, and the cessation of wars help people? This question is from Alena.
Solar energy is a very broad and expansive concept. It depends on what you mean. Solar energy, as a source of power for sustaining civilization, can be very beneficial, just as solar energy can be valuable from a spiritual energy perspective. It is the sun in our solar system that serves as the gateway through which energy enters the planet. At specific, predetermined intervals specifically, once every 4 months the planet's unique light codes are carefully and systematically changed. From the core of the galaxy, renewal energy codes are sent, which are processed through the sun and then transmitted. And your planet interacts energetically with the sun. If you were to remove the sun and send your planet drifting freely through space, but let's say have some other light source nearby so it wouldn't freeze, life on it would most likely still perish because it would lack precisely the energy that the sun provided, the frequencies and renewal codes that came through it. Life could begin to gradually fade away.
Thank you. Does all of humanity inhabiting our planet have a soul?
Yes, all people living on your planet, those born from a mother, have souls. But many people fall asleep. They dull their awareness so much that there is only a very small percentage of their higher self, as spirit, present within them. But the soul, the energetic shell, is present in everyone born from a woman.
And animals don't have a soul.
They do have a soul, their own soul, which is completely different from human.
Why is the lifespan of animals so short? So short. I mean, it's not as long as the humans. That's what I want to say. In my life, roughly speaking, 30 years old, many animals have already lived out their lives and left my life. And this question doesn't give me peace. Why did the Creator make it so that we are forced to say goodbye to them?
The faster death occurs, the faster evolution happens, because death leads to the change of generations and an accelerated process of accumulating new genes and experience within species. Those species that complete their development more quickly evolve and develop faster. On your planet, that's how it is. This can change over time as the planet moves forward and the conditions change. The lifespan may also become longer. It's important to understand that souls are immortal anyway. And returning back to the source, when the physical body dies, the souls of animals return to the source of their spiritual family from which they came, and merging with it, they are reincarnated again into this species. In this way, they accumulate collective evolutionary experience.
So everything is interconnected, and we need to learn to see the valuable experience in this.
That's right.
Thank you. So there are people are questions from YouTube. There are people who claim that there are secret space programs in which both humans and Draco participate together. Maybe they mean dragons? One of the Earth bases for these programs is said to be on an island in the Indian Ocean. A US military base. Is that true? That's a tough question. It's written in abbreviations. Didn't we talk about this on the last broadcast? Well, in the last one about secret space programs, yes, there was information that they exist. This is what people and dragons are specifically interested in, apparently.
On your planet, there not only exist secret space programs, but also secret organizations dedicated to concealing the activities of extraterrestrials on Earth. These organizations, they live on underground bases created by aliens and, in essence, serve as intermediaries between humans and extraterrestrials. But these organizations are so highly classified that even the presidents of the countries where these bases are located have no knowledge of them.
Thank you. So, why are people affected by changes in the weather? Some people experience a drop in blood pressure, others have it rise, and some have their chronic illnesses worsen. Some people become emotional. How can we help? That's the question. Weather sensitivity. How can we help?
It's impossible to answer this question briefly, especially since I am not a specialist in this field. In any case, the processes that occur in the weather only affect the health of those people whose bodies are generally weakened. That's why there is a universal recommendation and advice to pay close and careful attention to the various reasons why your body may become weakened or less resilient, to understand why you might be lacking certain essential micronutrients that are vital for your health, and to consider why your mind could be in a vulnerable state where it easily bends or yields to any external influences or pressures from the environment.
That's quite a profound answer. It's something to really think about. And it's not just about the physical body, right? Mm. Tell me, please, dear Ra, are the current fires in the USA, Israel, and other countries connected to increased solar activity?
No, increased solar activity does not mean that the sun shines brighter or gives off more heat. It means a greater amount of light radiation emissions in the form of radioactive plasma ejections, emissions of charged particles, and electromagnetic waves. Fires on your planet are primarily connected to the weather and the redistribution of air masses. When severe droughts begin in certain areas, all it takes is a single lightning strike somewhere, and a fire can start there.
Thank you. All right. Well, let me see. Next question. Dear Ra, could you please tell us about the union of the 12 lords?
It's important to understand what you mean, because the question is not specific.
Well, I don't know either. This is the first time I've heard about the 12 lords. Kemji, if you write your question in more detail, I'll read it again. All right. So there's a question in Ukrainian. I can't read it. So please write in Russian or at worst in English. And a lot of people tell me that you ruin your eyesight if you look at the sun. So here's the question. Does your eyesight get damaged if you look at the sun?
Yes, if you look without protective glass, your eyesight is not adapted for that.
How many suns does our planet have? And how many moons did it have? Suns for our planet.
You have one sun and one potential reserve at the moment.
What does that mean?
At the early stage of your system's formation, you had two suns, but the second one is a red dwarf, and it went out. It moves in such an elongated orbit that you don't notice it. It's invisible to you. But there are also a few small planets orbiting around it. And the potential reserve sun is Jupiter. If necessary, it can be switched on or activated as a mini-star when the situation requires.
Interesting. Alright, thank you. Albina writes, Dear Ram, Is it safe to sunbathe? Isn't it dangerous for us, for people? You can answer that question yourself. So, what should humanity ultimately achieve in the best case scenario? I think we've already read
That was the question.
that question, yes. It's repeating. Alright. Will current professions still be relevant after a solar flare? After all, when the Earth's energy informational field is cleansed, many egregores will dissolve and certain areas of human life will lose their meaning. Well, it seems to me that you've already answered your own question. But let's ask Uranus. Will current professions still be relevant?
A lot will change, and it's impossible to list everything right now. The changes will affect a wide variety of fields. So, what was relevant before will lose its relevance. We need to keep up with the times and understand that the future lies in the development of spirituality and in its integration with science and technology. When the boundary disappears between science and what you call esotericism and spirituality, when science, psychology, spirituality, and esotericism merge into one, that will be the most promising direction in the future.
Uh-huh, thank you. Do the souls of deceased people have a way to go home from Earth, or are they trapped here on the astral level and forced to reincarnate, being used as gavach?
Homeware.
I really don't know.
Earth is their home. No one is forcibly keeping souls on Earth, and no one is using them. No one is spinning any gavak there. Forget those words. They were implanted in you by the Anunnaki. You shouldn't listen to them, because they deceive. No one locks souls on Earth except for the souls themselves. When a soul is not self-aware, when throughout its entire incarnation it remains dependent on other people, on its dreams, desires, and what you call unfulfilled gestalts, and at the same time it remains unconscious, unable to awaken, then when it dies, it doesn't realize that it has died. It keeps trying to cling to its old experiences. And so, when the entire reel of its past unwinds, the soul is simply drawn, like a magnet, into a new incarnation that most closely matches its vibrational structure in order to continue its evolution. Often this process happens very quickly and unconsciously. That is why many souls do not know who they were, where they came from, or why they incarnated. They only sense it intuitively until the moment of realization and spiritual awakening arrives. When the soul realizes that this life, this world, is a kind of game meant to be enjoyed, and one that can be consciously directed, and you are not a victim of this game, you are not a hostage of this world. All of this is created for you, and you are absolutely free within it.
Thank you. Can a change of intention help influence nature, or is it external and independent of us?
There is no such thing as either or. A change of intention affects everything in any case.
Even the nature of the planet?
Even the nature of the planet itself.
Thank you so much for your time.
Last question.
So, the last question. We need to choose the most important one. Alright. Well, tell us about the pyramids. What are their functions? Why were they built on Earth? Because, after all, ancient Egypt, the topic of Ra,
The pyramids were built not only in Egypt, but also on other continents, all over your planet, forming a single network for transmitting impulses and energy. The construction of pyramids is similar to the construction of antennas. Each pyramid is built according to astronomical calculations oriented toward specific stars and planets. When we came there together with our disciples and activated the pyramids, at a certain moment, when all the stars and planets were aligned, we initiated the reception of streams of light and the infusion of the planet with light energies and vibrations, using the pyramids as a portal to connect with other star systems and with the sun. The pyramids could serve as concentrators and accumulators of energy, transmitting it directly to the planet. Even a single constructed pyramid greatly accelerates the evolution of the solar system, and within it, a specific species. They are a kind of frequency acceptance accelerators, portals and gateways to other pyramids on other planets would open within them, and there were even physical portals through which one could pass by simply taking a single step through the gateway. Such gateways were installed in Egypt and in other corners of your planet. In addition to the Egyptian pyramids, pyramids existed on Venus when there was life there, and on Mars. The Martian pyramids were among the largest pyramids and were constructed there to receive energy in various forms. And on Earth, a pyramid complex was partially recreated for communication with the energies of Mars and the energies of the Sun. Through the pyramids, the transmission of quantum frequencies for planetary renewal takes place, as well as the reception and sending of energies. And your modern scientists require parabolic antennas to capture radio waves, but we needed pyramids to capture etheric waves which exist beyond the range of vibrations that you are able to detect. These are very complex structures, which in the past included not only the pyramids themselves, but also an entire city built around them, which resembled your modern microcircuits. Each pyramid was connected in a specific way by special conductive tunnels, filled with crystals such as lead and selenite, in order to unite them into networks of light. In addition to the pyramids, there were also light towers that captured light through special lenses. And through these light channels, the entire pyramid network was activated. Besides the pyramids, there were also underground and above ground structures where information processing took place. That is, overall, the pyramid complex resembled a microchip board like those in your computers, and served as a large-scale quantum computer that received and processed information. We built such quantum computers on our planets for interplanetary communication, for receiving and transmitting energy, and for interacting with other worlds. The knowledge accumulation zone, the so-called library, is still beneath the paws of the Sphinx, where the entrance is located. The Sphinx stands on a spot where underground there is a vault containing our data banks, which hold a vast amount of knowledge about the history of humanity, its origins, and events that took place in ancient times. They are recorded on enormous crystalline layers. It is impossible to read it with your current technology. And when your scientists discovered them, they simply sealed off these places and concealed their existence. Nevertheless, when the time comes, you will receive the keys to decipher everything that is stored there.
Thank you very much for such a comprehensive answer. This is a very extensive knowledge base about the pyramids. I think that those who work in Egypt might even be able to participate in this process of study. If you have clearance, you can check all of this. Thank you very much. So I found a few important questions in the chat. Maybe I should read them out as well.
Yes?
About coronal holes on the Sun, scientists are observing that they have become more frequent.
That's not surprising. This happens as a result of the beginning of a polarity reversal, when the magnetic field becomes especially active and coronal holes form in certain areas.
And does the quantum transition occur in all civilizations in such a way that the parent star emits a strong flare, or can it happen differently?
It's highly individual in nature for each specific and unique society, for each particular and distinct system. Sometimes this happens gradually over hundreds or even thousands of years.
Here's a technical question. Should humanity be concerned about hadron colliders? Is it possible to somehow neutralize them? Do they pose any danger to the planet?
Particle accelerators of your scale, the ones you build, are not capable of having any dangerous impact because they are insignificantly small. And the energies used in them compared to ours do not pose any danger at all.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll wrap up as usual. Someone in the chat was asking not about a flat Earth, but about a flat Sun. Is it true that the Sun is flat? Because here you also depicted it as flat, behind the god Ra. Maybe that's why such a question came up.
If you want to know whether the Sun is flat, take a telescope and look at the Sun first with one eye, then with the other. You can only look at the Sun through a telescope twice, once with your left eye, then with your right. That's it. You won't see anything else for the rest of your life. Actually, you can use a telescope or even binoculars to project the Sun onto a sheet of paper. When I was little, my father and I used to do this, and you could even see sunspots. Take a white sheet of paper, position the binoculars, and then by moving the paper closer to the binoculars like this, focus the image of the Sun through the binoculars onto the paper. The Sun will be focused somewhere on the sheet of paper, and you'll be able to see both the spots and the volume, that it's round, and that these spots move across it, drifting like on an ocean. That's it. So what's there to guess about? See for yourself. If you don't believe it, go check for yourself. But honestly, how can you even wrap your head around the idea that the Sun is flat? Just imagine, take a plate like this, yes, a flat one, and try to move around it. The Earth revolves around the Sun.
It's all very sad.
It's sad, yes, that people ask such questions. It's very sad. Here's a question that keeps coming up. If I want to meet benevolent aliens, what do I need to do so that the wrong ones don't come to me? How about we do a separate broadcast on this topic? We will invite other civilizations and do a broadcast on the topic how to meet aliens. If you like, in conclusion, Ra would like to add something. You are standing on the threshold of evolution when it is time to remember who you are. Do this through your inner self by meditating on this question as often as possible. Who am I? Not who am I in the sense of people who lived in the past, not who I incarnated as or who I was, but who am I really? Who am I beyond the concept of I, beyond material experience? What is the true nature of the soul? Realizing that you are not merely this physical body, nor simply these fleeting thoughts, not Natasha, not Nadia, not Olia, not Lena, not Sveta, not Alexander, not any of these individual identities, but rather something far greater and more profound, a presence that exists within the vast universe, transcending the limitations of space and time, and connected to something infinite and eternal. Immortal, eternal. That which is never born and never dies. Pure consciousness, a state that is truly one with everything. Alright, I'm ending the contact. My head is already spinning right now. Let him leave, otherwise I'm starting to feel unwell myself. Somehow, during the last broadcast it was easier to feel, but do you feel the vibrations?
Wow, they're different.
At different space?
I don't really like these brass vibrations. Well, I like them and I don't like them.
Well, they're probably somewhat denser vibrations.
They're like radiation. As the sun is, so is Ra.
But it's kind of scolding. Well, when I do channelings, my head actually starts to itch like this.
That's why it itches, yeah. It's as if even the air is being cut.
It's as if even the air is being cut, yeah, like radiation. You said it exactly. Now we're going to do a planetary meditation. But I probably need to drink some water. No, I'll just sit like this, dry. I don't have any water nearby. Alright. Let's do a planetary meditation now. Get ready. Planetary meditations are best done sitting, so that your spine is vertical. Now I'll choose some music. Wait just a couple of seconds. This will do. Get ready, close your eyes, focus. Now we are going to travel to the sun and thread a beam of light through the sun and the earth, connecting the sun and the earth with a ray of light through the cosmos. Sit comfortably. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Relax. Tune in to your inner space and your sensations. Now imagine that somewhere Inside you, something warm and radiant like the sun appears in your heart. Feel how this sun in your heart expands and spreads its light. Feel how this light fills you from within. It moves downward toward your feet, filling them with warmth and relaxation, reaching every toe and the soles of your feet. It moves upward, reflecting from your feet, filling your shins, knees, thighs, and pelvic area with bright, warm light. Feel how this gentle light floods your entire inner structure. It moves upward, filling your abdomen, arms, shoulders, and head. And now, inside, it generates a certain feeling of gentle, warm joy. For a moment, you forget that you are a body and simply begin to feel that love is the very essence of the universe, that love does not need to be earned or achieved. It simply exists now and begins to flow through you. Remember this feeling of love, generated in your heart. Now you feel how it begins to radiate as white light from your heart beyond your body, creating a divine sphere of light around you. Imagine how this sphere becomes brighter and brighter, expands, and you find yourself completely inside it, like inside an egg, like inside a bubble. And with every inhale and exhale, this sphere fills with an even brighter, warmer light. Good. And its outer edge begins to be covered in gold, forming a golden dome around this sphere. A dome of protection, a golden filter of light. Take a deep breath and direct your breath, the flow of heart energy downward. As you exhale, feel it flowing down your legs, forming long threads stretching downward with light toward the center of the earth. Feel how these threads of light reach toward the core of the planet. They head towards it, passing through rock formations, through magma. Somewhere deep inside the earth lies its luminous core, the heart of the planet. Embrace this heart of the earth with your threads of light. Merge with it and silently say to it in your mind, Earth, my mother, I love you and I ask you, give me the necessary energy so that I may connect you with the sun and direct this flow of solar energy towards the evolution of all people on earth. She sends this stream of energy. You feel it rising up through your channel of light, reaching your feet, climbing higher and higher, moving up through your body, through your legs, through your abdomen, and accumulating at the crown of your head. There, a lotus forms. This lotus opens, and a stream of light begins to shine upward from your head as a pillar of light. Now, as you inhale, use your attention, your light from the heart, to move upward along this stream. As you exhale like a rocket, you shoot out from the crown of your head as a beam of light, and you yourself ride at the tip of this rocket, at the tip of this light, soaring upward, passing through the clouds, through the atmosphere, and leaving the atmosphere into outer space. You see the earth from above. You see the sun in the distance. Now set the intention to move closer to the sun. Silently say to yourself, now I am extending a channel of light to the sun, a beam of light. Now I will move to the sun on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And you begin to move toward the sun, instantly finding yourself next to it. And there it is before you, enormous, filling the entire visible horizon. You look at it and address Ah and the solar angels Ra. I ask you now, Sun, open to me the gates of your energies. Open a passage for me so that I may enter you into your light and take the purest, best energies needed for the earth, for the people who live on earth. I sincerely wish now to become a conduit of light and to let a stream of light flow through me in order to help earthlings break through illusions, to evolve in the best possible way. Now, the access is gradually opening. The gates to the sun are opening, like great, beautiful golden gates, and you fly inside it. Behind you, a thread of light connects you to the earth. You fly into the sun, and you are greeted by solar angels, beings of light, and plasmoids from higher dimensions. We approach the center of the sun and feel how its plasma, how the solar warmth gently envelops us with presence and care, cleansing us and filling us with light. We are approaching the core of the sun, and there they are waiting for us. Now stand in the core of the sun, right at the very center, and look around you. You will see many other beings of light, those who are now meditating with us beyond space and time. See them now. Look at them. They are ready to unite together for this radiant mission. We all stand in a circle at the center of the sun. We open our arms to the sides and join hands, forming one large circle. Feel how the energy in this circle gently begins to intensify. Notice how it slowly starts to move all around you, swirling and concentrating, and how this powerful energy pulls into you from all sides, filling you completely. What is it like? How do you feel it? What does it resemble? Absorb this energy. And now, in the center of this circle, the earth appears. The image of this earth is that of our mother. And in front of each of you appears a sphere in the form of the earth. Raise your hands in front of you and direct them toward this sphere. Feel how now all the energy coming from the sun is radiating onto you and onto the earth. Direct it in waves toward the planet and now say, I send to the earth the very best energy of harmonization of all the processes taking place on earth. I ask the higher powers to send the very best energy to accelerate the coming of peace on planet Earth and to bring an end to all conflicts and wars. Feel how this gentle energy pours out from you slowly onto the earth. Feel yourself as a conduit, a stream. And this energy, through you like a pipe, simply flows and moves. And now, together in this circle of light, we take this energy from the sun and direct it back to the earth. We take a part of this energy with us like a ray of light, like a channel, like a rope, and we pull this stream with us to the earth. We are leaving the sun. We see the earth ahead in the distance. And now, on the count of 3, we will make a quick leap back to the earth. 1, 2, 3. We move toward the earth. And now you are near the earth. Look at it. Look at the channel of light that stretches through you from the sun to the earth. Look at the planet. And now, from space, we all stand around the planet in a circle, and together with us, solar deities and solar angels led by Ra join hands. You see Ra and feel his energy. We join hands around the planet Earth. And from our hearts, we generate the purest possible message of love and peace for every person on Earth. Peace and harmony, the end of all conflicts. A state of calm and love. Recreate within yourself the feeling you want every person on earth to experience right now, the feeling that is truly valuable and important. Generate this feeling within yourself. Rub your hands together, intensify the sensation inside, and as you exhale, send it forward toward the earth. And this energy in gentle, smooth streams reaches the very planet. It penetrates it into its core, its essence, its plasma flow. It is directed to every person, into their hearts, strengthening their inner light. Now we ask Ra to create the very best stream of awakening energy, so that every person on earth who is ready for it, who wishes to receive this energy, can raise their awareness, elevate their vibrations, and awaken their consciousness from slumber. Ra creates this stream and is now directing it through us to the entire planet. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, with effort and intention, send this stream to the earth. Awakening of consciousness. And imagine how the Eye of Ra begins to shine with golden light in people's minds. Breathe. Let this stream of light reach all those who need it, who are willing to accept it, who are ready for it. Good. Now bring your hands together in front of you and generate the energy of gratitude. Thank Ra. Thank all the higher powers that participated in this process. Thank yourself. Rub your hands together, generate this energy of gratitude, and send it out into the universe. Let this stream of light that we have now opened work beyond time and space, and continue to raise the vibrations and awareness on Earth. No matter who does or repeats this meditation or when, its effect only increases. And this energy is directed in the best possible way, under the guidance and control of the higher forces of light, solely for the evolution and development of each individual according to the law of free will of all those concerned. So be it. And now, the solar angels are completing the process. We are ready to return back to our bodies, to Earth. Say goodbye to them, say goodbye to Ra. They will remain present by your side. And now, imagine yourself returning to your body once again. You descend from space down through the atmosphere, passing through the layers, through the clouds, and return back into your body. At this moment, at this time, in this room, here and now, fully enter yourself. Reconnect with yourself. Good. And now ground yourself again. Send a grounding flow of energy down through your legs to the center of the earth. Connect with its core. Feel the gentle heaviness, the warmth, the love of the earth. Good. Feel your body move around, twist a little. Our meditation is complete. Now, say to yourself, harmony of all chakras. Harmony of all chakras. Now I return all my energies to this moment from all levels of time and space to the here and now. So be it. It is done. It is done. It is done. Now we have just completed the planetary meditation together. Congratulations to those who did it for the first time. And thank you to everyone who has done it many times and to those who did it for the first time. And I am very much looking forward to seeing you at my future broadcasts, at the planetary meditations that we will do at the end of the streams. I believe that it is also very important not to stay on the sidelines, not to be just passive listeners and consumers of content on YouTube and the internet. My goal is not to entertain you, to give you some kind of, amusement, but to directly help each of you in your evolution and development, regardless of whether you have money or not, whether you come to my courses or not. Yes, I do offer courses where we cover deep topics. And yes, these courses are very challenging. I create them in such a way that I invest a tremendous amount of energy into them. Those who are currently taking the course know this, which is why they cannot be offered for free. And soon we will be launching a course on chakra opening, a global chakra opening course that lasts 12 weeks. This is the most powerful course. There's nothing like it on the internet. And this isn't bragging, I've checked it myself. I know that nothing like this exists. I myself couldn't find anything similar. The information that came to me for this course hasn't been presented anywhere else yet. So if you want to study the topic of chakras, how can it help you in your evolution? In fact, it's enough just to understand the chakras, start practicing with them, and that's it. And you can consider that you've already made the quantum leap 100%. In conclusion, I'd like to offer a few comments. There's no need to stock up on canned goods, buy tons of toilet paper and salt, and hide in the basement. There's no point in that. Waiting for an outbreak, like we've bought candles and are hiding in the basement. You don't need to do that because you're just fueling fear. The universe will take care of you. Even if the power goes out for a couple of days, you're not going to die from it. Nothing terrible will happen. Hunger isn't going to suddenly break out of nowhere. And of course, there might be some confusion, but it's not a given that it will happen this year. It could happen in 36, not now. So trust the universe, trust the space around you, will take care of you. Any panic, any anxiety is an admission that the universe and God are not present in your life and are not looking after you. So don't panic and always react to everything calmly. And even if this does happen, you will be the ones who calm everyone around you. Because you know why this is happening and that it is only for the best. I will have more broadcasts about how the 5D works, how to activate 5D within yourself, 5D consciousness. We will also do more broadcasts with different civilizations, and with each civilization we connect with, we will do planetary meditations together, because each of them brings their own unique vibrations. Sometimes these meditations are very timely and relevant, so please keep an eye out for updates and announcements. Sometimes I write in the chats, okay, we urgently need to do a meditation, and then all of us just get together, start a broadcast. It might not always be on Saturday or Sunday, so there may be days when it's not on a Saturday or Sunday. That's why it's important to always stay updated with the announcements. We have a Telegram chat. You can join our Telegram channel there. This is a free Telegram group where I share my insights with you, channelings, contacts, and information that comes through, which doesn't make it onto the YouTube channel. There are links to this channel in the description below this video. Also, if any of you live in English-speaking countries, in the USA, for example, or in other places where English is spoken, I have a YouTube channel in English, but unfortunately, I can't share it here publicly. So just type my name in English, and you might find my channel among the English language YouTube channels. But it's important that people watch specifically from English speaking countries. That way YouTube will understand whom to promote and recommend this video to. So you can help promote my English channel. It really needs your help right now, because people in the English speaking world also need to hear the information I'm sharing. I'm investing resources and money into this channel because I have to pay for translation services, a translator, voiceover, and editing. All of that requires money. And so far, this channel only has like 200 subscribers, actually, not even that, just 180 at the moment. But that's already a good start. I believe that if some of you help out, maybe those who speak English or have an audience there, it would be very, very helpful. But you'll need to look for it yourself. Just type in my last name and first name, Fedri Yuri, channeling in English, and that channel will show up for you. That's all I have for today. Thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you in the next broadcasts. I look forward to seeing you in my courses and on my Telegram channel as well. Also, leave your comments under this video. Now, once this broadcast ends, everything you've written here in the chat is great and cool, but please write at least a few more comments, because after the previous broadcast there were so many messages in the chat feed, but very few later in the comments. Don't be lazy, write something in the comments afterwards. What you felt, what you saw, what sensations you experienced during the planetary meditation, and whether you would recommend planetary meditations to other people. Well, anything at all. It's easy for you, but it's helpful for the YouTube channel. Thank you all.